Hello, my dear listeners, and welcome to You Are Okay. I'm Lietta, and what we are going to explore today is both deeply personal and at the same time universal. How our childhood experiences, our early attachments, our early wounds can shape how we feel, think, and act as adults. And more importantly, how they can create depression even in people who are intelligent, motivated, and capable. I want you to hear this clearly. If you sometimes feel hopeless, unmotivated, or exhausted, it is not laziness and it is not weakness. Do not judge yourself too much. It is not because you are failing at life. It is because your nervous system, your brain, and your emotional patterns are responding to experiences from the past. Experiences that your young self could not control, experiences that your body and mind remembered, and experiences that continue to influence your life today. As children, our brains are incredibly plastic. They absorb everything like sponges. Like remember SpongeBob, yes? We learn about love, safety, and our own value from the people who care for us. If we grow up in a home that is consistent, nurturing, and responsive, our brain learns I am safe, I matter, I can trust others, and I can trust myself. But what happens if care is inconsistent, if love is unpredictable, if our feelings are dismissed, or if control and care are mixed in confusing ways? Our brain learns a different message. The world is unsafe. My feelings are inconvenient. I must survive on my own. These early experiences wire our nervous system to react with vigilance, anxiety, or withdrawal, even when the adult world is really safe. Let me share an example. Let's talk name like Emma grew up in a household where her parent was helpful, but every act of kindness came with strings attached. A small gift, a tiny favor, maybe a few dollars, seemingly harmless, but always followed by subtle expectations, loyalty, time, obedience. Emma learned to mix care and control. Fast forward 20 years and she finds herself seeking relationships where care and control are still intertwined. Her brain learns that love often comes with conditions. Over time, the constant tension, self-doubt, and confusion drain her energy. Even though Emma has goals, dreams, and desires, her body and nervous system feel blocked. She wants to act, but something inside prevents her. She is exhausted, anxious, and depressed, not because she is weak, but because her nervous system is still responding to childhood patterns. And there are a lot of patterns that we can meet in our everyday life. Here is another example. Mark grew up in a household where emotions were minimized. Stop crying. Man, don't cry. Don't be dramatic. Why are you so sensitive? These messages taught him that his feelings were unsafe, unwanted, or wrong. As an adult, he overworks, avoids conflicts, and suppresses his emotions. His nervous system learned to prioritize survival over joy, connection, and energy. Slowly, he feels drained, loses interest in activities he once loved, and experiences depression. Even when life looks fine on other surface, the internal landscape is a storm. And let's be real for a moment. The childhood trauma isn't always dramatic or extreme. It isn't always abuse or neglect like we can think. Sometimes it's subtle, inconsistent attention, a parent who is present physically but emotionally unavailable, a caregiver who mixes praise with criticism, or one who controls love through conditions. These patterns are enough to create deep emotional imprints and influence adult depression. New Now let's talk about attachment. Um, our attachment style, the way we relate to others, is formed in these early relationships. If we experience secure attachment, we generally trust others, feel safe, and can express our needs. But insecure attachment, whether avoidant, anxious, or disorganized, can lead to adult depression. Why? Because the brain is constantly scanning for threats, real or imagined. It misinterprets cues, second guesses care, and experiences chronic stress. This stress is real, it's in the body, in the nervous system, and it shows up as fatigue, lack of motivation, and emotional numbness. Here is an interactive question for you. Do you notice patterns in your adult relationships that feel familiar from your childhood? Do you tend to seek partners or friends who are controlling, distant, or unpredictable, even if they promise care? That's your attachment system at work. Your brain seeking the familiar even if it's harmful. And yes, it's confusing because we all crave care, love, and connection. But when care and control were intervened in childhood, our brain can distinguish them automatically. That's why you might choose demanding partners, mistreat boundaries, or feel guilt when you need to assert yourself. Let's pause and reflect. If you are listening and thinking, whoa, this is me, it's important to remember that understanding your patterns is the first step to freedom. Journaling, for instance, is an amazing tool. Writing letters to your younger self, acknowledging what they went through, what they needed, and what they felt, can create a sense of safety and presence that your nervous system craves. A simple exercise. Write, I see you, I hear you, your feelings matter. Even silently saying this to yourself rewires your brain to feel safe, acknowledged, and loved. You even can hug yourself and say to you, continue to say it much more often, and you will see the difference. And humor matters too. Seriously, laugh at your inner critic, at the absurdity of your perfectionism, or at the tiny ways your inner child still reacts. Humor teaches the nervous system that it's safe to relax, to release tension, and to experience joy. Let's tie this to depression more specifically. Childhood trauma and insecure attachment affect the brain's stress system, especially the amygdala and the HPA axis. These systems regulate cortisol, the stress hormone. When they are constantly activated by early experiences, your nervous system is in a chronic state of alarm. Dopamine pathways, which regulate motivation and pleasure, are also affected. You want to act, you have dreams, but your brain says, danger, not now. This is why people often think, I just don't want to do anything, when in fact your nervous system and body cannot respond despite your desire. Here is a story from life. For example, Sophia grew up in a chaotic, unpredictable home. As an adult, she overworked, constantly sought approval, and pushed herself to exhaustion. Every step forward was met with anxiety and guilt. Through journaling, therapy, and mindfulness, she began recognizing patterns of neglect and unmet needs. Slowly, she rebuilt energy, motivation, and self compassion. Today, she can pursue goals without being trapped by childhood patterns. Her depression lifted not because she tried harder, but because she rewired her nervous system and healed her inner child. So try to hear your inner child, try to find it, and try to talk with your child inside. Now I want to address one more common misconception. Depression is not laziness. If you are depressed, you may feel that you should be doing more, moving faster, thinking clearer. But imagine having an inner engine that wants to move, but every time you press the pedal, the brakes engage automatically. Your body is tired, your mind is foggy, and your energy is depleted. This is why sleep feels impossible, concentration is a battle, and even small tasks feel monumental. Your motivation isn't gone, it's trapped behind the body's and brain's protective response to early trauma. So, what can you do? Awareness is the first step. Naming the patterns, understanding their origins, and giving yourself permission to feel is essential. Journaling, reflection, self compassion, practices, and safe therapeutic work, they all help. Small daily steps, pausing, noticing, validating your feelings, and choosing to care for yourself rewire the brain. You are not broken, you are responding to a system that has been trying to keep you safe all along. To end today's episode, I want you to hold this in your mind. Your depression is not your fault. Your early experiences shaped your nervous system, your brain, and your responses. But healing is possible. You can reconnect with your inner child, you can rebuild attachment patterns and reclaim energy, motivation, and joy. And yes, you can even laugh along the way. Humor, curiosity, and compassion are your areas. Remember, you are not lazy, you are not weak, you are human, and your healing is unfolding in this moment. Thank you for listening.